logo, the updated title. I will send it from my phone. Okay.
Pledge of Allegiance is traditional. I think we do that first. All right, so we do it now?
Oh, it's part of it. Hopefully this can be good in the report.
Okay.
Okay.
Esther?
Yeah, so if you can use that, great. But I don't know if I know how to turn this into Word. I don't have reports. Okay, but I could, because I'm happy to ask my typist to do it in the morning.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Nassau County Legislature to order and ask Legislator Delia DeRigi Whitten to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Howard, you may want to mute yourself. Mike Pulitzer, if you're there, why don't you call the roll?
Thank you, Rich. I will now call the roll of the Nassau County Legislature, March 24th, 2021. Deputy Presiding Officer Howard Coppell.
Here.
Alternate Deputy Presiding Officer Denise Ford.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Sheila Bino. Legislator Sheila Bino. Legislator Deborah Muley. Legislator C. William Gaylor III. Legislator Vincent Muscarella.
Here.
Legislator Ellen Birnbaum.
Here.
Legislator Delia DeRigi Whitten. Thank you. Legislator James Kennedy. Legislator Thomas McKevitt.
Here.
Legislator Laura Schaefer.
Here.
Legislator John Ferretti.
Here.
Legislator Arnold Drucker.
Here.
Legislator Rosemarie Walker.
Here.
Legislator Joshua Lafazan. Legislator Stephen Rhodes.
Present.
Minority Leader Kavana Abrahams. Presiding Officer Richard Nicolello.
Here.
Thank you, Rich. Legislator Carrier Solage.
Here.
Thank you, Carrier. Presiding Officer, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Presiding Officer, it's Katie. If you wouldn't mind holding your introduction for a few minutes of the County Executive until about 6:30? Is that
All right,
okay?
Sure, just give me the cue and I'll do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, this is Josh Lafazan. I'm sorry, I must have been on mute. Thank you.
Hey, Kev, Bill Galo, let the clerk know I'm here. Bill Gaylord here. Let the clerk know I'm here.
Kevin, I'm here as well. James Kennedy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I can go now? Okay, thank you. Good evening and welcome to the 2021 State of the County. I'm Presiding Officer Rich Nicolello, and I thank you for joining us tonight. I want to extend a special thank you to the Elmont Memorial High School and the Sewanaka Central High School District for hosting this meeting of the Nassau County Legislature this evening. I would like to now introduce Nassau County Executive Laura Curran to deliver her 2021 State of the County address. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. I'd like to welcome Presiding Officer Nicolello, Minority Leader Abrahams, and the 17 other members of the Nassau County Legislature with us in person or virtually. Thank you to Elmont Memorial High School, Principal Dougherty, and the Sewanaka Central School District for hosting this year's address. Go Spartans! And to our residents at home, thank you for joining me as we recap this year, one we are not likely to forget, and to look forward to the year ahead. I feel like we've come full circle. Just 1 year ago today, I postponed my State of the County address that was to be held right here at Elmont Memorial in order to direct Nassau County on the response to the COVID-19 crisis. Every single day since, Nassau County has been at war to save lives, to keep our businesses afloat, to keep our economy open, and to keep our kids in school. Standing here now, I see a future brighter than ever. And tonight, I'll tell you exactly how Nassau County is seizing this once-in-a-century opportunity to come back stronger than we ever imagined. In the weeks and months to come, our main priority is getting everyone eligible in Nassau County vaccinated. We'll need to keep our budget balanced as we drive forward on the road to recovery. We'll continue to act with a sense of urgency and focus that our residents deserve. And we cannot let anything slow us down. I'll speak to each of these issues and more tonight. But before I continue, this week I've ordered flags lowered to half-staff to remember the 3,021 residents we've lost to COVID-19. I ask you to join me for pausing in a moment of silence in honor of their memory. To the families and loved ones of those we've lost, our hearts are with you. It's been a time of loss for so many. Too many precious lives lost, businesses lost, jobs lost. Critical time in the classroom for our children lost. Lost moments with loved ones. The losses in our lives are hard to count. But the way Nassau County residents have stepped up these past 12 months has been nothing short of heroic. The many healthcare workers and first responders, parents and teachers, young men and women making a difference, big or small, in their communities. Like Lilac, a group of Syosset high school students raising money to provide PPE and lunches for healthcare workers, or Tori Brown, a fifth grader at Baldwin's Lenox School, who started her own cake business to support families hit hard by the pandemic. Our residents have shown real character. I must especially thank the county's frontline workers, beginning with the finest health department in the nation, led by the incomparable Dr. Larry Eisenstein. Nassau has long had an award-winning health department, but this year, Dr. Larry and his team truly outdid themselves. I'm also grateful for the hundreds of Nassau County Medical Reserve Corps volunteers and our Fire Marshal's office who've stepped up to support our COVID response and our vaccination efforts. More than 32% of the total county population has received at least one shot of the vaccine, the highest percentage of any large New York State county. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe, it's effective, and it's the key to ending this pandemic and to kickstarting our economic recovery. I call it the passport back to normal. Nassau has had the most efficient vaccine operation in the state, working to get shots in arms and using every last vial. The county distribution sites have turned around 100% of the doses that we've received. We've built the infrastructure to swiftly distribute the vaccine, and if you're eligible, make an appointment and roll up your sleeve. Health equity is a cornerstone of our vaccine strategy, and the county is working closely with trusted community messengers like educators and clergy to build confidence in the vaccine and to increase access to communities disproportionately affected by this pandemic. I want to thank our vaccine equity team, Kyle Rose-Lauder, Carolyn McCummings, and Andrea Alt-Brutus. Nassau will continue vaccinating as many people as we can in all communities so we can save lives, get our economy roaring, our businesses fully open, and our kids back into the classroom for good. As county executive, I've done everything in my power to keep our schools open. Schools are the safest place for our kids, and a high-quality education system is the foundation of our county. I've seen up close how teachers and administrators have put their students first in very certain and very difficult times, especially as they implemented plans to safely and responsibly reopen. As schools continue reopening, Nassau County will be working closely with districts to help schools access FEMA funding that will allow for investment in IT and improved ventilation in buildings. I want to recognize Tavora Buckman, Dr. Buckman, a member of Dr. Larry's Department of Health team, who helped provide districts with the guidance that they needed to do in-person learning and get our kids safely back on the field, court, mat, and rink. Through DOH and our trusted community leaders, Bishop Lionel Harvey, Dr. Aaron Glatt, and Dr. Isma Chowdhury, among many others, we got the word out about worshiping safely, testing availability, access to vaccine, and help for those in need. I would also like to thank Farah Mazzawala, Lionel Chitty, and Amy Flores from our outreach offices for their important work. In response to a heartbreaking rise in food insecurity, the county put food on the table for more than 35,000 Nassau families through partnerships with Island Harvest and Long Island Cares food banks. We provided relief for those unable to pay the rent and pioneered an innovative restaurant relief program that is now being used as a model at the state level. More than 200 restaurants located all over the county have received grants of up to $10,000 so far. This program is still open, and I urge our restaurant owners to apply. At the beginning of the crisis, I formed an economic advisory council that helped me guide a pro-business response and recovery for Nassau County. Already, the county has delivered millions in loans and PPE to our small businesses through the Boost Nassau initiative. I've fought to loosen restrictions on businesses when it made sense, helping push for the safe reopening of malls, barbershops, nail salons, bowling alleys, movie theaters, gyms, and catering halls, and more. Even when it hasn't been easy politically, I've advocated for businesses that have followed the rules and are just trying to get by. And I'll continue to advocate for common sense reopening. The county has made it a priority to do everything possible to attract and grow commerce in Nassau. My administration has cut red tape that has strangled development in this county for decades, such as reducing timeframes for approvals from our Department of Public Works. We've utilized Industrial Development Agency, IDA, incentives across industry sectors, where doing so drives a net benefit for taxpayers. This is certainly the case for transformative projects like the Long Beach Superblock and the redevelopment of the Zero Wire site. After an era of neglect of our infrastructure, my mantra as county executive has been simple: roads, roads, roads. Nassau County has embarked on the most ambitious road repaving program in decades, increasing the annual average lane miles of roads repaved between 2019 and 2021 by more than 70% compared to the average annual lane mile resurfaced in the 3 years before I took office. And we're not taking our foot off the pedal. Now is the time to rebuild, and I believe infrastructure will power Nassau's economic recovery. Across the county, I've outlined 12 projects that Nassau has positioned for upcoming federal stimulus funds to finish up. The total value generated by these projects is nearly $400 million, with more than 3,300 construction jobs generated. And let's get our minority vendors tied into those opportunities. We need businesses in every community to grow and to thrive on Long Island. To that end, we've teamed up with our partners in Suffolk to identify and access disparities in access so we can help entrepreneurs across the island take their business to the next level. Though these are difficult times, I will never give up on our main streets. Prior to the pandemic, we experienced a historic revitalization of our downtowns with new transit-oriented development and walkable communities that attract young people. I'm pleased to see that the work continues, most recently in Hicksville. When it comes to rethinking how we use public spaces during the pandemic, Nassau has led the way. Our first of its kind Open Streets pilot program was a smashing success, with outdoor dining and retail, providing both a town square feeling for downtowns while also boosting revenue for businesses struggling to make ends meet. That's why we will build on the Open Streets program this summer by allowing further flexibility for businesses and local municipalities who want to give the outdoors a try. During the peak of the COVID-19 crisis, I made 3 commitments for my administration's budget. No property tax increases, our law enforcement and frontline workers will have the resources they need, and we will maintain fiscal integrity. And I kept these promises. Although the worst of the storm is over, we have a lot to tackle, and we can handle it because of our fiscal discipline before the crisis. Nassau County ended 2019 with a surplus, which allowed us to navigate the financial devastation of 2020 better than most. We successfully refinanced county debt and avoided harmful cuts to life-saving resources and programs that keep our communities healthy and safe. And the county does not collect an additional cent of property taxes. And there will be no layoffs of county workers who have served as our front line when we needed them most. And for the first time in 15 years, Moody's has upgraded Nassau County's bond rating to positive, citing, quote, a 3rd consecutive year of improved financial results and ongoing budget and management discipline. And the newly passed American Rescue Plan will help the county continue to deliver relief and will take a methodical, targeted, and bipartisan approach to make sure we recover as one Nassau and bounce back stronger than ever. An important building block in our financial turnaround is completing collective bargaining with our county unions. After reaching agreements with detectives and superior officers in the police department, we have a few more to go. But securing quality agreements is one of my highest priorities. We have terrific employees in Nassau County, and I want to settle these contracts and provide certainty for our workforce on wages and benefits. The men and women who are employed in Nassau County deliver every day for our residents, and I will continue to stand by them. At the same time, my administration will continue policies of fiscal restraint so that the county can finally, after almost a decade, end the state's control over county finances. My first campaign for county executive was about a promise that I wouldn't just do what was popular. I would do the right things for the right reasons. In the face of the usual politics and pandering, we fixed a broken property assessment system that has bankrupted our county. Everyone knows taxes on Long Island are too high. And that's why the county has not collected 1 additional cent more in property taxes since I've been county executive. We took several steps throughout the pandemic to provide relief to taxpayers whenever possible, delaying deadlines, waiving fees, and pausing assessments to protect homeowners from the pandemic's economic impact. And if you disagree with your updated market value of your property, you will always have the right to file a grievance. Homeowners have until April 30th to file their grievance this year. I will never stop fighting to protect taxpayers from any hikes, including when it means holding utilities like PSEG Long Island and LIPA accountable, and ensuring every dime of taxpayer funds are wisely spent on the high-quality services that our residents expect and deserve. As county executive, my first job is keeping you safe. And as I speak to you tonight, Nassau County is the #1 safest community in America, according to U.S. News and World Report. Our county is enjoying record low crime rates. Compared to a decade ago, major crime has been cut by 1/3. We've doubled down on our commitment to build trust between police and the communities they serve, and the results are paying off. But we're not resting on our laurels. 2020 saw a nationwide call to improve policing, and we heard that call in Nassau, kicking off more than 150 community meetings that gave law enforcement, protest organizers, and community members a seat at the table. I want to commend the young men and women, such as the men of Elmont, some of whom are with us here tonight, for their commitment to making positive change in their communities. The dialogue we started helped inform a comprehensive police reform plan passed by the county legislature in a bipartisan manner. I'm proud to announce that for the first time in history, Nassau County police officers will wear body cameras, a proven tool for accountability, safety, and improved officer performance. Our plan includes unprecedented steps to increase police data transparency, enhance mental health response, provide additional de-escalation and anti-bias training, and ensure our force reflects the diversity of our communities. I commend Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder and his entire team for their efforts in this important work. Tonight, I'd like to honor the memory of William J. Willett, one of the first African-American officers on the force, who ended his 48-year career as the first black police commissioner in Nassau County. The Nassau County Police Department headquarters will soon be named in honor of Willett, who blazed a trail for so many. It is a further tribute to Commissioner Willett that the current highest-ranking chiefs of the Nassau County Police Department are diverse in both race and gender. I'm very proud of our law enforcement. They put their lives on the line every day. It's something we should never forget. I'll never forget when moments after being sworn in on January 1st, 2018, I was informed that Officer Willard Gomes, a young officer on highway patrol, was struck by a drunk driver and was hanging on for his life. I went to visit Officer Gomes and witnessed firsthand the dangers officers face every day just doing their jobs. We should never take this bravery for granted. We should never be afraid to talk about ways to improve policing, but there will be no defunding the police in Nassau County. Our law enforcement will always have my respect, and I'll always have their back. In these times, it's important to demonstrate that maintaining public safety, supporting the police, and improving policing are common goals for every community. You may not read about it often, but it is possible to do it all. Nassau County is proof. So how did Nassau County earn that number one safety ranking? It's important first to credit the Nassau County PD, the district attorney, fire marshal and fire service, sheriff's office, probation, medics, OEM, and other first responders for the outstanding job they've done for us. However, another important takeaway from Nassau becoming the safest in America is that intelligence-led, community-based policing works. Intelligence-led policing can't work without a collaborative approach that combines problem-solving policing, information sharing, and enhanced intelligence operations. The system depends on cooperation among various agencies at the federal, state, and local level, and perhaps most importantly, a close bond between law enforcement and the local community. This approach gets results. Nassau's partnership with federal and state partners, along with close cooperation from the community, has been key to our success in eradicating gang violence and stemming the flow of deadly drugs like fentanyl into our neighborhoods. Intelligence-led policing recognizes that society cannot arrest its way out of problems, and instead focuses on partnering with the community to identify potential victims, repeat offenders, and then provide low-level offenders the opportunity to change their behavior before getting into trouble for more serious crimes. Nassau has invested in proactive community partnerships that promote this model, such as Alternatives to Incarceration peer programs for juvenile offenders. On the topic of legalized cannabis, the concerns raised by the community task force I convened 2 years ago remain unanswered, including law enforcement's inability to detect impaired driving. These questions must be answered. We must continue to invest in smart policing and continue to build trust between police and the communities they serve. That's why Nassau County has increased the number of problem-oriented police officers, POP officers. We're expanding the Police Athletic League for the first time in 50 years with new programs right here in Elmont, Roosevelt, and Lawrence, allowing police to build relationships with young people through sports and crafts, games, educational programs, and more. We know it's important that our police receive the highest level of training, but since 1982, Nassau County's law enforcement officers haven't had access to a permanent training facility. Instead of learning in a state-of-the-art police academy, the men and women we depend on for our safety have been shuffled through temporary and overly costly facilities. That ends with this administration and this county legislature. In a few months, thanks to public and private support gathered through the Nassau County Police Department Foundation, we will open the Nassau County Training and Intelligence Center right on the Nassau Community College campus. And speaking of openings, Belmont, here we come. The soon-to-come home for our New York Islanders marks another economic milestone for Nassau County. I want to thank the state, the Islanders, and the NHL for their partnership. The new UBS Belmont Arena will achieve 3 critical goals: boost our economy, bring the Islanders home to Long Island, where they belong, and expand our public transit network. 3 goals, a hat trick for Nassau County. For decades, advancement in public transportation on Long Island was at a standstill. Now the state is building the first full-time Long Island Railroad station in almost 50 years. When the Elmont station opens, it will ease congestion and provide a new green public transit option. We will continue to support investments in rail connections and fight short-sighted service reductions. Now is the time to build confidence in public transit. And given the recent $14 billion stimulus the MTA received, recent service reductions were a huge mistake. We have invested too much in the Moynihan Station and East Side Access and must not back away from efforts to be connected regionally. The pandemic has disrupted life as we know it, but I believed Nassau is primed to win the future. Our real estate market is booming like no other, with property values skyrocketing. Nassau is the place to be. Building a Nassau County that can thrive in this new era, however, requires us to embrace forward-looking change and not wait until it's too late. I'd like to thank the Nassau County Legislature for unanimously approving amendments to the Coliseum lease and Nassau Hub Development Plan that grant Nassau Live and developer RXR time to firm up plans for a new entertainment district with the iconic Coliseum at center stage. Let's position the building for success, to complement rather than compete with the new UBS Belmont Arena. This will be the transformative project we have always envisioned, and now is the time to make it happen. Fighting COVID-19 and reopening our economy has, of course, been our central focus this year. But recent extreme weather events remind us of something we can't ignore. Climate change is real, and it is happening now. Just like with COVID, Nassau County has been thrust onto the front line. Extreme weather events, shifting season, more intense rainfall, changes to marine life, including an increase of sharks by the shore, and dramatic sea level rise, these accelerating trends pose a threat to our way of life on Long Island. Some say the climate crisis is too big or it's too distant a problem for local governments to address. I disagree, because I know that what we do here matters. Like how Nassau was thrust into the epicenter of a global pandemic, we are on the front line of the climate crisis because we are a low-lying island. We ought to lead the way on climate, not just to preserve our own health and safety, but to demonstrate that government need not abandon bold leadership in difficult times. That's why last year I committed the county to become a climate-smart community. We are setting ambitious goals for carbon dioxide reduction and transitioning to green technology and infrastructure. My administration is prioritizing initiatives that protect the environment and save taxpayers money, like decreasing energy usage, implementing LEED standards for new facilities, new county facilities, and incorporating green technologies like electric buses. We will shift to clean, renewable energy and reduce solid waste while protecting open space and water quality. And the county is enhancing community resilience to climate change by better protecting against sea level rise and storm surges. The county has partnered with the state to start construction this year of over $35 million of road and drainage infrastructure improvements focused on resiliency, mostly funded by state and federal sources. And the biggest infrastructure project of our lifetime is the Western Bays Initiative, which gets started this month with the Bay Park Conveyance Project. In partnership with New York State and the federal government, we are moving forward with more than $600 million in funding to remove harmful discharges and improve water quality on the South Shore. So this will translate into a tremendous economic boost for the region and 2,400 new jobs. In addition to cleaning our waterways, this project will restore marshland, improve storm resilience, boost shell fishing, and create a better ecosystem. The improved water quality we'll see means a better quality of life for our residents. We should do all we can now to harness the economic potential of the green energy industry for our local businesses and for our workforce. I believe offshore wind is an area of real opportunity, with 2 offshore wind farms already being built off the coast of Long Island. We will be generating 1,700 megawatts of clean energy. That's enough to power 1 million homes. Let's build more. I know we can count on our partners in labor, like John Durso at the Long Island Federation of Labor and Matthew Arasich at the Building and Construction Trades Council, joining with BOCES, the Workforce Development Institute, and our colleges to begin the important work of establishing training and apprentice programs to get our residents ready for these new industry jobs. In the era of social distancing, our parks are more important than ever. We've stepped up investment in county park maintenance and enhancement, which is key to making Nassau a great place to live, work, and play. The county is restoring and transforming 3 major parks, including Centennial Park in Roosevelt, Christopher Morley Park in Roslyn, and Inwood Park. We're upgrading amenities at Grant Park in Hewlett, Reverend McKay Preserve in Roosevelt, Bay Park in East Rockaway, Nickerson Beach, and Eisenhower Park, the home to our Veterans Memorial. Last year marked 75 years since the end of World War II. Like COVID, the war changed everything about our lives, including right here on Long Island. Throughout that era, it was men and women in Nassau County, whether at Grumman or Republic, who built the tools of a history-defining victory. We remember what we built and the values our country stood up for. In the face of a new historic crisis, we must continue to build and remain true to these values. Today, Nassau County is home to one of the largest veterans populations in the state. Our commitment to them will always remain sacred. And under Executive Director Ralph Esposito of Elmont, our Nassau County Veterans Services Agency, we're helping more veterans than ever find employment, secure benefits, get vaccinated for COVID-19, and sometimes just find a warm coat and a hot meal. One of the greatest challenges veterans face nationwide is housing insecurity. I recently announced the county has secured land at Mitchell Field to create affordable housing for vets who need it. I want to thank the legislature for again coming together to ensure dignity for our heroes. Whether at home or abroad, we can never forget those who risked their lives and those who gave their lives so that we could live free. That's why this week I was proud to announce a public-private partnership to install a new memorial at Eisenhower Park Veterans Memorial to honor the veterans of the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. When it comes to the values we hold dear, we stand firm. I'm proud of county employees like John O'Doherty of the Nassau County Department of Public Works and Nassau County police officers Bonilla, Rombaros, Moore, Meyer, Krolder, De La Rosa, Castellano, and Schenck, who answered the call to safeguard those values as reservists, protecting the presidential inauguration, helping ensure the peaceful transition of power. Hatred has no home in Nassau, and this year we will continue to fight hate with bold action to deter violence, protect our citizens, and educate our people about the causes and terrible consequences of hate. Through Unified Long Island, a multi-faith, multiracial community effort to respond to hate crimes, and however else necessary, we will continue to confront all forms of bigotry so they never know comfort in our communities. Local governments like Nassau County have been on the front line this past year, and the pandemic only underscored just how important a functioning government is. I believe government can work for the people, but only when it's honest, transparent, and responsive. And for too long, that was the opposite of what we had here in Nassau. 6 years ago, Nassau County District Attorney Madeline Singas issued a report outlining recommendations to address waste, fraud, and abuse that Nassau County had become infamous for. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that my administration has followed through on every action item from that report. We've taken the politics out of governing and struck blow after blow at the culture of corruption using oversight, transparency, and audit trails as our weapons, and we're just getting started. As tough as this year has been, I know that Nassau residents are tougher. And when we come together, we get the job done. I know we're eager to get vaccinated and turn the corner, and wider distribution is imminent. But as we move towards finally winning this war, I have two requests for my fellow Nassau residents. First, let's not forget those friends and neighbors who are still struggling. Let's keep reaching out and volunteering and donating to food banks. Together, we'll show it doesn't take a once-in-a-century crisis to make a difference in the lives of others. Second, let's not return to normal. Let's be better, let's think bigger and bolder. If anything, this past year has shown us what we can achieve. Like Baldwin's own NASA astronaut Jasmine Moghbeli, who could soon be the first woman to walk on the moon. Let's hold on to that unique American spirit of ingenuity and collaboration. Like Abigail Rivera and Gilberto Lopez, who despite the pandemic pushed ahead to open up their dream restaurant, Rivers Cafe in Floral Park. Of working for the greater good and not just for ourselves. Like Detective Luis Alvarez of Oceanside, who stood up and fought for his fellow 9/11 first responders until his dying breath. As your county executive, I've been so proud to witness up close the extraordinary things you are doing every day. And I've been proud to witness your intelligence and resilience. And that's how I know the state of our county is strong. Because you are strong, stronger than you ever imagined. Thank you for listening, and may God bless Nassau County and the United States of America. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Close it down. Maybe he stepped away for a moment. Why don't I just motion to adjourn by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Rhodes. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.